The Trump administration has circulated a draft executive order that would review how the United States operates the war on terrorism, essentially. So it looks at various things that were outlawed under President Barack Obama, but practiced under President George W. Bush, including the possibility of CIA prisons overseas. These were the so-called black sites that many human rights groups, as well as even senators, have criticized as kind of being the location for some of the worst abuses during that war on terror. It also looks at certain practices that are banned now under past executive orders or are not in the Army Field Manual. These would include things like waterboarding and other harsh techniques that have been heavily criticized, even by many Republicans. Well, the draft order, as it stands now, is very clear on Guantanamo. It is a useful site for holding terror detainees. It should be maintained, and it even talks about sending newly captured enemy combatants to the detention facility. It's clear that this administration supports the continued use of Guantanamo for detentions, for interrogations, for military commissions, and that it is turning its back on the previous calls to close it. It's unclear how enthusiastic the Justice Department, the CIA, or even the military would be to reinstitute practices that were divisive even among their own officials while they were being carried out. These harsh interrogation techniques, there was never really full agreement, even within those agencies, about whether they were effective, about whether they were more effective than standard interrogation techniques, and whether they ultimately hurt morale and undermined America's kind of moral clarity on how it treats detainees. One thing is certain is that people will be divided by any reintroduction of these methods, and I think not only here but overseas as well, the United States is going to have a very hard time explaining to its allies why it needs these in its fight against the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, other organizations, what cooperation they're going to hope for from European countries that were pretty condemnatory of what the United States had been doing.